Next up is me. My name is Tom Hernandez, and I am from Joliet originally and now live in Plainfield. I'm a writer, a communications professional, public speaker, and performer. I've published 3 books. Three books entitled Chocolate Cows and Purple Cheese and Other Tales from the Home Front, a book of poetry called Abundance, and another book called The Edge of Middle, Essays, Poetry, and Fiction, about my trip to and through middle age. Tonight, I'm going to read a short story that delves into the fear, particularly a male fear, but just a fear in general, of failing one's family. It's titled The Fall. He remembered. The memory, leadened with 20 years of regret, doubt, and self-loathing, haunted him. Guilt, the kind that only a person responsible for the lives of others who could not, did not choose their own life, squeezed the air from his lungs as surely and firmly as his finger had just squeezed the trigger 4 times. He remembered. His brain replayed the incident. The day his life changed, the day his life ended. The sun shone bright and warm. A bit of rain in the morning, but nothing much to be concerned about as he drove his 18-wheeler to Chicago, now empty of its load, back to the warehouse. He swung the behemoth truck around so that the vacant trailer doors faced the plastic venting covering the open warehouse entry, backing up until the rear bumper kissed the rubberized lips of the loading dock, softly, carefully, but firmly, like a 14-year-old with his first girlfriend. Grabbing the rung outside the cab door, he lowered himself out and down onto the warehouse parking lot, splashed through a chain of shrinking puddles, entered the warehouse office through the cafeteria and past the outer cubicles. Bill stuck his head into the manager's door. "Hey, Joe." "Hey, Bill. How was the run?" "Fine. Got there in plenty of time. No problems. Dropped the load, got back here with a few minutes to spare, and didn't have to use any speed or bribe any cops." "Ha ha," Joe said. "That's not funny." "I thought it was hilarious." "Well, anyway, I'm going to turn in my manifest and punch out. I'm off for a couple of days and I've got plans with the wife and kids." "Great. Thanks for the good work today." Bill proffered a mock salute. He crisply executed a showy heel-to-toe spin on the tile floor like a soldier in parade review and headed back to the loading dock with his paperwork in hand. Approaching his truck, Bill bellowed to another driver at the end of the docks. "Yo, Luis! Hold on a minute, man. I need to check something with..." The sentence hung unfinished in the air where his mouth had been a millisecond before. The left side of his head bounced off the damp concrete loading floor dock. The sudden sucking hollowness in his lungs made it impossible to form sensible sounds, much less words. A phalanx of drivers and dock workers ran over, surrounded him, lifting and slapping him on the back. "Dude, are you all right? Man, you took a header. Can you speak? Pack up, you assholes. Give him a chance to breathe." Doubled over in pain, he couldn't answer. Couldn't inhale. Hadn't inhaled for what seemed like an eternity. He stared at the men, wondering in eye-bulging panic if he'd ever breathe again. 1,000 words formed and flashed on the plate of his brain, but he couldn't give them life. Then suddenly, as if someone had flipped the switch on an air hose, his chest inflated. "Holy Jesus Christ!" Bill exploded, breathing again. In and out, in and out. "What the hell happened?" "I don't know, man," Luis said. "One minute you were talking to me, the next you were on your ass. You just disappeared like one of those elephants in the magic act." Luis laughed, his bright, full teeth on broad display. They'd been friends for years, close enough to share dinner with their families, to tease about each other's shortcomings. For Bill, it was his ever-growing girth. "Seriously, man, are you okay? It looked like you hit your head pretty hard." "Yeah, I guess so." Bill positioned his hands on his waist and noticed a puddle glistening with oil, just about where he'd been standing when he fell, spraying his manifest around the warehouse floor. He bent over to pick up some of the paperwork and felt a lightning bolt burn through his left elbow. "Holy crap, that hurts!" He grabbed his arm. He remembered. One conversation. Just one. Truth be told, it wasn't much of a conversation. He'd come home already convinced that the most appropriate response to the accident was not to see a doctor, Get some painkillers and take a few days off, as Joe had immediately advised. Go on, I'll take care of everything for you. Your union has good insurance. Don't worry about a thing. Enjoy a few extra days with your kids. Rather, he would sue. Susie, his wife of 10 years and the mother of his 3 young children, begged him to reconsider. It's a good job. They like you. They're going to take care of you. I know how you feel, but it's a big company. They've got more lawyers than God has angels. If you sue, you will lose. Who are you to fight them? Please go back to work, she implored. He remembered. Dreaming of all the riches that would finally come his way, being able to pay off bills lingering over their heads like pollution in the South Side air, buying his kids and wife a few nice things, not because they needed them, but just because he could. And maybe that jet ski he'd always wanted too. Why should everyone else be able to enjoy life, but not him? Gaining some ground, maybe just a few steps on life's many snarling dogs. After all, he couldn't make a living now, could he? Couldn't raise his left arm or grip a steering wheel or even grip a pen without crippling pain. And it was their fault for not doing a better job of drying the warehouse floor. But no amount of anguish would stop him from signing his name on that big fat check when it came. Somebody else's loss, his gain, finally. He remembered. Bill never worked again, at least not for another person. And for a while, the ebullient sense of freedom that comes from laboring only for his own muse, his own vision, his own entrepreneurial spirit emboldened him. Yet despite several shimmering moments of success, life never failed to teach its surest lesson, that absolutely nothing is without cost or consequence. Even freedom has strings. He remembered how quickly life crumbled around him. Days turned to weeks, turned to months, turned to years, without meaningful, sustained employment. How crashing waves of resentment and furious recrimination eroded sandy beaches of marital love and support. How paternal pride faded with each tear-filtered glance from his children. Their adoration once filled his heart like rice in a plastic bag, fleshing and forming every corner and space. Now, those few times when his kids ever looked at him, it wasn't with adoration, but with thick, dull shame. Until finally he couldn't stand up. Pain racked him. Body and soul knotted in ways that Bill couldn't have imagined, much less explained. He remembered. Bill lowered the gun and removed his glasses. Tried to wipe off the minuscule fleck from the lens, only for it to smear into a burgundy cloud. Pain stung his left elbow, the twinge now a regular and unwelcome companion. Its sharpness still sometimes caught his breath, no matter how familiar. Funny, he now thought, surveying the carnage his hand had wrought, how something so small, a drop of blood, a rash notion, could so obscure one's vision. I'm so sorry. The words stalled behind his lips, a tear rolling through the furrows at the corner of his eye, his aching, heavy heart beseeching forgiveness from those who could no longer forgive. He remembered and raised the gun one last time.